Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The Prime Minister describes a deal to rent Town Centre Mall to house the post office as a gift.
The opposition leader is responding to the Prime Minister's comments that the rental of Town Centre Mall is a gift to the government.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. 4 days after the plane he was piloting went down in waters off Nirvana Beach, still no sign of Byron Ferguson or the 6-seater Piper Aztec aircraft. Tonight, as Ferguson's family questions the efforts put into searching for the 34-year-old pilot, officials are providing very little information. When Our News passed by Nirvana Beach today, it was empty. No boat, no search plane in sight. Despite this, Our News was told the search has not been called off by authorities. And despite every effort to seek an update, our calls to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force went unanswered. And on the police force's end, we were told there was no new information. We spoke with Assistant Commissioner of Police, Layman Delaveau, over the phone.
I know that they're hurting. I feel their pain. Trust me, I feel their pain.
Just yesterday, during their plea for answers as to why it appeared that search crews gave up so easily, Ferguson's brother, Ashton, said they've done all they can to keep hope alive and search, even when law enforcement search crews seem to have stopped looking.
To show the desperation we had, there was some information going around on Facebook about some Carnival cruise line in the area on Friday morning that may have seen a flare, and we were asked by the Coast Guard to assist with some search and rescue intervention. My family tracked that cruise line, went down where the port was, trying to speak to people, just showing you the desperation where we don't have no official route of communication with anybody. They went down there scrambling to talk to people, begging for access to talk to people to find out what that was about. Just showing you the desperation that we had.
A 4 p.m. meeting that was scheduled between all law enforcement agencies involved in the search, as well as the Air Accident Investigation Department, was called off just after 3. However, Kendall Dorset, the operations investigator for the AAID, said they are continuing with their investigation by using clues they have, like an audio recording from the ill-fated flight.
In lieu of the fact that there has been no recovery of occupants on the aircraft itself, and we are very limited in our investigation. But there are other avenues that we look into, and that will be including the weather, the maintenance records of the aircraft, the ATC transcripts and recordings. And so those aspects that we do have, our investigations are now looking towards those lines.
Dorset, who's off the island, said given the fact that the plane can't be found, nor the pilot, it's unclear how long this part of the investigation will take.
Still very, very early in our investigation.
Okay.
Still very early, so that's going to take some time.
Do you know how long that would take before you can get any actual conclusion?
No, I definitely can't say that yet.
The search team has come under fire in recent hours, with some questioning how the plane was not secured or a spot marked after the Defense Force reported seeing a portion of the plane out of the water upon arrival. Authorities have been reporting that 2 people were on board that flight. However, family members insist Ferguson was alone. So we asked Dorset for confirmation. He said from what the investigation has gathered so far, Ferguson was alone.
We have our sources, and based on that, yes.
Well, amid reports of an Immigration Department probe, members of the media sought answers from Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis today as he left the opening of Accountants Week at Bahamas Convention Center. However, Minnis once again dodged the media's questions, with his aide getting aggressive with reporters and repeatedly swatting away their mics. The aide also telling reporters that he was given permission to push them out of the way.
Into those FBI claims about immigration work permit fraud?
Don't put the mic in my face.
Yeah, you think anybody will go to jail over it?
As the aide slapped away reporters' mics, Minnis responded, "Y'all relax." This comes on the heels of a recent Free National Movement conclave where Dr. Minnis promised to improve the party's communication strategy. However, he made it clear there would be no questions today, with his aide covering the Our News mic with his hand.
the U.S. government investigating?
No questions.
Not even no questions? What is this?
Upon coming to office in May 2017, the Prime Minister promised quarterly press briefings to give members of the media the opportunity to put questions to him. However, 18 months in, not one press briefing has been held. The PM's press secretary, Anthony Newbold, has said Minnis will hold a press briefing when he sees fit. Well, despite intense backlash from members of his own party over government's decision to lease space in the Town Centre Mall, which is partially owned by a member of his cabinet, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is doubling down on that controversial decision, telling North Eleuthera residents that the deal is a gift to the government. Jared Higgs has that.
They're spending $3.5 million to do the renovation. Subtract the 3.5 from the 4.5, you end up at $1 million. So you're paying $1 million over 5 years. Jesus Christ, that's a gift.
Minnis was referring to the decision by owners of Town Centre Mall, Immigration Minister Brent Simonette and his brother, to foot the $3.5 million bill to renovate the facility. If you deduct that total from the $4.5 million figure, which represents 5 years of rental payments at $900,000 per year, Minnis says it's a charitable deal.
So I ask you, are we wrong to make such a decision?
The decision to rent Town Centre Mall from Simonette and his brother was met with internal opposition when it was presented to Parliament for approval. MP for Baines and Grantstown, Travis Robinson, MP for Centreville, Rhys Chipman, MP for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, and MP for Golden Isles, Vaughan Miller, all voted against the resolution. Miller called the move a brazen perpetuation of corruption, while Robinson insisted that he did not believe cabinet ministers should benefit from government contracts. In defending the move, Minnis told North Eleutherans that the previous government determined that Town Centre Mall was the best location to house the post office. However, it should be noted that the PLP government decided against the Town Centre Mall and went with the Independence Shopping Plaza.
We were afraid to make the correct decision because of politics, because we knew there'd be backlash. And some people would say, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. But the Constitution is clear. The Constitution, our forefathers recognized that the day will come, because of a small population, the Bahamas, that the day will come when an individual may hold a high position and he has a product that the Bahamas needs. And the Bahamas must utilize such product, but be transparent so that the public knows.
Minnis likened the situation to if a popular billionaire were a Bahamian parliamentarian.
A perfect example is Bill Gates. Bill Gates, Microsoft. If Bill Gates were a Bahamian and he was a member of Parliament and you want to create e-government, you need Microsoft. Do you punish an entire nation because Bill Gates holds a post?
Minnis says the need to move the post office from its current home on East Hill Street was urgent due to severely deteriorating conditions at the building. Those conditions resulted in shortened work days for the GPO's employees. Government officials have said post office employees should begin moving into the new space at Town Centre Mall this month. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higg.
All right, thanks, Jared. Well, opposition leader Philip Davis called the Prime Minister's defense of the Town Centre Mall lease agreement ludicrous. Jillian Gray has that.
Now, when our news team visited Town Centre Mall, most of the eastern section of the building had been gutted as renovations have begun. And while owners are footing the bill for the renovations, the opposition leader said the 5-year lease agreement seems more like a gift to the owners than a gift to the government.
The decision they made has in fact resurrected a business establishment that has been interred for the last 10 and 15 years. It's nothing more than a bailout for the Simonette family.
The opposition leader was responding to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who told North Eleuthera residents over the weekend that the $12 per square foot deal is a gift. Construction workers at Town Centre Mall have already stripped the inside bare. Access to the center of the mall is prohibited from both sides, as exposed wires, bare walls, and scaffolds signal that post office workers will soon be in the building. Davis said the lease agreement comes with specific implications.
That whole establishment was interred for the past 10 years. Once they now resurrect the post office, put a post office there, it attracts traffic. That traffic will then create opportunities for other persons, and that those other persons could then open up other shops. And so they've now made it attractive for the landlord to rent the rest of the space.
The opposition leader added that Dr. Minnis's ludicrous comments are belittling the severity of the situation.
Every time they are caught out for the hypocrisy, for the lack of like what I call moral turpitude in respect to their dealings with governing issues, they tend to trivialize it. Right? At the end of the day, what the question here is that a sitting member of cabinet has a contract with the government, and that is the issue. And should that happen? We say no.
As he defended the move over the weekend, the Prime Minister said the Constitution allows for them to enter such a deal with the cabinet minister, as long as it is handled in a transparent manner. Davis said that defense is weak.
The Constitution exempts a member of Parliament from vacating a seat if Parliament agrees that it should be.
The Oldsville's food store on Gladstone Road was taken off the table after the government concluded that renovations would be too costly. Despite this, Davis said there are alternative sites that the Minnis administration could have acquired, including the old Independence Shopping Plaza that sits just a few feet away from the town center mall. Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Well, with just 18 days remaining in the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, officials at the Met Office are tracking a tropical wave in the Atlantic. Senior Deputy Director Basil Dean said the system can develop into a tropical cyclone or storm, adding that the central and southeast Bahamas could be affected by Wednesday. He added strong winds and rain are expected.
The word to residents in the Bahamas is to remain in a state of readiness. Certainly the southeast and central Bahamas will experience some effect from this system by the middle of this week. And if the shift towards the north that we anticipate takes place, that should keep us here in the northwest Bahamas pretty much out of harm's way.
Dean said it is too early to determine what kind of impact the system could have, but officials are watching very closely to see how it develops. He encouraged residents to listen to advisories as systems can intensify. He also advised residents with roof damage from previous storms to prepare by purchasing tarps.
Rainfall, as we keep saying, can be an issue, as you rightfully said, with some of them still have tops on their roof. You don't want to hear anything named rainfall, so you'll have to certainly brace yourself for some rain, which can be heavy at times. So if it means putting on additional tarp to ensure that you keep the inside of your residence dry, that is what you'll have to do.
Still to come on our News, BTC workers fear for their jobs, plus Dominicans said to be marrying Bahamians just to work on fishing boats. Stay tuned.